have a compete track, a Masters RX, Masters Intermediate, and a classic track. And so the compete is for our highest level track, which we don't have a big following for currently, which is one of the reasons why we wanted to continue to start working with Coda to build out that track. Our Masters RX and Masters Intermediate are self-explanatory. That's what they are for the athletes. Masters RX for athletes that have pretty much all of the skills, working to get into quarterfinals in their age group. And the Masters Intermediate is a developmental track for athletes learning the basics of gymnastics. And then our classic track is a 60-minute version of our RX, or our base track. With bringing Kevin in, our goal is to basically facilitate a broader crowd. So we're going to maintain Masters RX and Masters Intermediate. Our compete track is going to shift up to a high individual quarterfinal, semifinal athlete sort of level, right? So it's going to be much higher gymnastic skills. The volume isn't going to increase. One of the changes that we're going to make, I'll talk about in a second, is restructuring the density of the days. And then we are going to add an RX track. So for our athletes that aren't masters, that are coming in, that just, that are quarterfinal athletes, maybe even like a higher quarterfinal athlete, the mid 90% range, you can do all the movements. This is going to be the track for you. And as you come in, we'll help you kind of fit where it is. There'll be an FAQ that'll be very specific, okay, I do this, or these are my goals, this is which track I should follow. And so one of the things that they do here at Coda that I think will fit really well with WOD Prep is they go on basically a 4 primary day training week. So Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, with Saturday being a supplementary day. If we really look, and this is for all of our current athletes, 80% of our athletes only do 4 days a week anyways, and they miss a day and they struggle to get in all 5 days. They have kids, they're grown adults with responsibilities and not 20-year-olds that just train all day long. And so it's going to fit really, really well. So our rest day is going to shift to Wednesday. Okay, that's going to allow us to have that Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday at a little bit higher intensity for both of those days, with that rest day kind of in between. And then Saturday is going to be more of a low effort, lower intensity. And we're going to talk about the structure of each day for the next phase here in a minute. So those are the brief changes, and we'll get more information out on that, more specific to all of our current members inside of the group, and then more marketing material will come out to you guys that are looking to join WOD Prep.
Awesome. So as a quick review, make sure I got it right, with bringing, we'll call it the spice of Coda.
Yeah.
The spice of Coda. We're basically moving the compete track up a few notches.
Yep.
And then adding a true RX track, not just a Masters RX track, which we already have. We're going to have an RX track for non-Masters athletes. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, awesome, cool, sweet. So with that, this is exciting because everyone, if you're already in the programs, there's no additional cost for you. It's just going to be added into your, the membership that you have. For anyone who's a prospective WOD Prep / Coda follower, or I guess WOD Prep online training follower, there is not going to be a price increase or anything like that. We're just adding value because that's what we like to do. We like to add value and not have to increase the prices. And I can just speak that it's fun. I've had more fun in here over the past 11 months than I have doing CrossFit in a very, very long time. And it comes down to community, but also doing some really fun workouts. And then adding CJ and Kevin together is going to be a match made in heaven, I think. So with that, let's talk about what's going to happen going into our next phase. Who do you want to lead? All right.
Yeah, so like I said, we're structuring the rest day on Wednesday now. And so you'll see a little bit of changes, but for our current members, it's not going to be a lot. You guys aren't going to notice a ton. The biggest changes that you're going to see is there's going to be a lot of on-the-clock sort of training. Right? We're going to try and condense some of the longer sessions that we've had and try and keep them manageable in that 90-minute max range. In the compete track, we'll have some secondary aerobic stuff, maybe even some swimming, some extra skill work and things that we kind of currently have as well, 2 to 3 days a week. But let's get into the phase. So everyone is going to go through the same structure of the whole phase, right? So it's going to start on December 18th, and it's going to run until we said pretty much until the open, right? So 2 full months, 10 weeks-ish, because the open is pushed back. So that's a very long build phase, and that'll go, it'll be broken into 2 5 to 6 week pieces, and there'll be a little shift in the middle with a deload. But for the most part, intermediate, Masters RX, RX, and Compete will be having the same generalized structure. The differences will be in the gymnastics volume, the skill level, and the complexity there, but the overall, in the overall volume, but the feel of it will be the same. All right, so Monday, we're going through a front squat build. We're going to build some density in the legs and build some hypertrophy and go into some intensity through the end of the phase. And then we're going to go into some interval work. 1 week working with no heavy lifts, and then 1 week working with some heavy barbell, and then kind of going as an A-B back and forth. And so our goal here is to, we call it aerobic power. So to work at a higher intensity for a longer period of time without going into an AMRAP, right? Because the AMRAP doesn't really set us up for success 10 or 15 minutes in, and just who can hang on the longest and not die. And that's not really the goal. Our goal is to keep that interval work, keep the intensity up. And so on the weeks that we are going with no barbell in the workout, we are going to do some fatigue lifting. So we'll have that interval work, and then we'll go into like a max lift or a heavy lift at the end of it, a snatch, a clean, a thruster, a squat, an overhead squat, whatever it may be.
Lifting while tired.
Lifting while tired, getting ready for the open.
Which is something that we've seen in the open.
Right. So we've seen it before, so we're going to make sure that we have it in, so we're getting some good touches on it. Don't pass it together.
All right, so Tuesdays we're going to be working some upper press, more towards like building our 1 rep max strict press, but most of our upper press gymnastics is going to be more in workouts as we get later in the week. But we're going to be working a lot of gymnastics density, both upper press, upper pull, in some EMOM style, some interval style, and we're just going to be accumulating volume throughout the weeks building up to the open. And then our workouts are going to be more like lactic power type work. You can think of that as like shorter type sprints where we're really trying to increase our power output, not getting really into the pain cave, but kind of like dipping our toe in a little bit on the edge. That sets up well because we have our rest day on Wednesday now, so we'll be fully recovered by the time we get to Thursday from that like intense lactic power work. All right?
Take it. Quick question for you guys, and this would probably be for CJ, is if, let's say, if someone already has their schedule set up where they're like, oh, I need Thursday to be my rest day. I've designed my entire life around that. I've been doing a rest day on Thursday for 5-6 years now. Is it possible for someone to do the Thursday on a Wednesday?
Yeah, I'm going to answer that question.
Oh, that's why you were asking for the mic.
Gosh, almost like I can read his mind.
Wow.
So if Thursday is the rest day, and it's Thursday is the rest day, and it is sacrilegious for you to break it, Saturday can be pushed to Wednesday, and you can just flip it. It's a low intensity day. It's just we'll go over, but it's just some basic bodybuilding and some aerobic work. So it can be moved to Wednesday, and you can still rest on Thursday, rest and push Thursday, Friday to Friday, Saturday. No problem. It'll fit really well, and that makes Wednesday our really low day, which it already is. So it can fit anywhere in the week. The main thing though is that Monday, Tuesday, or day 1, 2, from day 3, 4 has to have a break in between. You can't run it 4 days straight, or you're going to get smashed. It will be very unsuccessful. You'll go into day 3 really fatigued, and day 4, which is another high output day, with nothing left. And so we'll kind of miss the stimulus there. So Thursday, we're going to do a lot of full Olympic lifts, right? So we're going to go through a very traditional snatch, clean and jerk, progressive cycle, probably adding in some pulls, getting in a little bit of technique work there, but just getting comfortable in that 70 to 80% range for a lot of touches for the front half, and then building into that 80 to 90% range. And then our conditioning this is what's going to be like our sustained lower aerobic work. So for like the 8 to 10, 12 minute range, rest 3 to 5 minutes, and then repeat for 3 or 4 rounds, right? So this is going to be like our long, repeated day, lower skill movements, so nothing with a lot of muscular fatigue, like strict handstand push-ups or high volume gymnastics or anything. We kind of keep this day to burpees and running and machine work and that kind of stuff. And so to keep that at kind of that lower skill effort. All right, so Fridays are going to be pretty much our most intense day of the week. For strength, we're going to be working our deadlift.
starting out with a good base and then building through the weeks. But the whole goal is to prepare our bodies to hinge really well. We're going to be asked to hinge at least once in the open, whether it's, high rep or whether it's like a 1 rep max type style. But there's definitely going to be something that comes up as hinge. And it's going to really transfer over to a lot of other movements well. So we'll be working our deadlift on Fridays. And then we'll be hitting our most intense workout days with a lot of like lactic endurance style open workouts. But it won't just be like a straight, 15-minute AMRAP or a retest or anything like that. It'll be more interval style work where we're really practicing and prepping our body to be ready for the open. So, with the cycle that you guys just hit where you're flip-flopping each week from practice and play, it's going to be a lot of weeks of practice in a row so that we're ready to play during the open and we're ready to really crush it and peak nicely for that. And then it'll also really set the tone for being able to have the volume accumulation needed to build into the next phase, into quarterfinals. So whether our goal is to peak for the open or peak for quarterfinals, it's going to set up nicely for both.
Cool. And then Saturday, like I said, is kind of this more bodybuilding day, kind of covering all maybe the accessory work from the week, because we're trying to keep the sessions a little shorter than we have been in the past. So this will be our accessory movement day, monostructural work, machine work, etc. Might get a little intense in some of the machine stuff, but for the most part, it's going to be a lower intensity day. And so as we're going through this, and a lot of people are like, I don't have muscle ups, I don't have bar muscle ups, or I don't have handstand walks. So as you join our program, if you've been here, we offer fixed length courses, right? So we have a few 8-week courses that are 2 days a week that'll help you get a muscle up, bar muscle up, or handstand walk. And so we'll help answer when you can put those into the training, definitely on a Saturday, maybe on a Thursday, or even Wednesday on the rest day, etc. So we have those options for those that are really trying to get that one rep of that one skill that they don't have to. And that's offered to everyone that joins our program. As far as the intermediate track, think of the day as just more gymnastics development. You guys will do a little bit more gymnastics work throughout the week on Tuesday and probably on Thursday as well. The intermediates need more touches, more body positional work, etc. And then compete in RX is going to look extremely similar. The only changes that we're going to see are going to be maybe a little bit of more volume or maybe a heavier percentage load as far as gymnastics or the barbell work. And the compete is going to have second session work because that is our goal. That athlete needs a little bit more volume to start prepping for, for sure quarterfinals, potentially even getting ready for a semifinal. But other than that, it's going to look, RX and Masters RX are going to be very similar. One thing that we've done, or we weren't really able to do, was make a lot of changes from the base program that we wrote to the Masters RX. And I always felt like it was kind of missing a little bit. And so now with having an RX track and a Masters RX track, I think we're going to be able to fill and fit our Masters athletes a little bit better, right? Write it a little bit more appropriate for them, adjust the volume and the gymnastics work for them, especially our 55 plus athletes that are coming through. That volume is the killer, right? And so the main reason why we made this switch, Kevin brought the idea to the table because that's what they do here. And I was like, I think that fits really, really well with volume control overall, which I think is the biggest struggle in the whole sport of CrossFit. So, I think that's it.
So, I'm super excited to get these two masterminds together and see what kind of programming they come up with. I know I'm excited to actually follow it. And one of the things I'm most pumped about is that finally, as a WOD Prep athlete, you're going to be following the same programming that I'm doing. So I will see you on the leaderboard if you're a member of WOD Prep Online Training. If you're not, if you're listening to this on the podcast and you're not a member of WOD Prep Online Training, if you like what these two guys were geeking out about, then I would love to invite you to join. Just go to wodprep.com and click on programming, and I'm sure there's a button there somewhere that you can click to join. Who knows? We're changing the menu all the time, but it's going to be there, I promise. Just look for WOD Prep Online Training. And what's cool is that when you join WOD Prep Online Training, you can jump between tracks. So it doesn't matter which track you're following. Let's say you hop into the RX track, and you level up and you're like, I'm ready for the compete track. You can just hop into that. And then if you get to the compete track and you're like, oh no, you can go right back down. Or, what's cool is I know my brother, he follows Water Prep Online Training. And depending on the length of his day and his availability to train with his little baby, he only has limited amounts of time sometimes. He'll hop into Classic because he can shorten it to 60 minutes or less. So regardless of what level athlete you are at, finally, I can say that our training is ready for you, right? We finally have every single piece of the puzzle ready to be filled and ready to help you improve your CrossFit abilities and crushing the open and beyond. And I'm also excited to have one of my good buddies, Kevin, joining us because he's awesome. And Kevin, just talk about how awesome you are.
Well, I'm going to change the subject slightly. So one of our goals and focuses with this whole teaming up and working together is to make this fun. I mean, I've been doing CrossFit 12 years now. I know Ben and CJ for a long time. So if we can make this fun, we're going to get better results. And this is also the training that I'm following, throughout the year to prep for the season and really peak as a Masters athlete, pretending to not be a Masters athlete still. So if you are local in Colorado, come join us, in our competitor class at CODA. But if you're not local, then we have an awesome camp for you that is going to be held here at CODA. Want to tell about the details about that?
Yeah, I forgot to even think about mentioning that. We got to hire this guy. Well, we kind of are. So we're currently at the brand new CODA facility. It's awesome. They just moved here a few days ago over Thanksgiving. Kevin's very tired. It's outstanding. How many square feet is it?
Over 9,000.
Over 9,000 square feet. It's awesome. Okay. And we will be hosting the first ever WOD Prep camp, or what name did you come up with?
WOD Prep Retreat.
WOD Prep Athlete Retreat? Yeah, that sounds better, but we forgot to name it that. Either way, whatever you call it, we're hosting people. There are limited spaces, and they're actually selling way better than I thought they were. We've hardly promoted it, and a lot of people have joined. So if you're gonna come, you actually need to join pretty soon. And I believe on December 1st, the early bird price is going to go away. We might extend that a couple days just because we haven't really promoted it. But there is an early bird price. Make sure you join before that. And then the spots are actually filling up. So we might fill up completely. Flying the whole team, pretty much all of our coaches are coming in to teach the camp. And also, I call him Daddy Kevin because he's just older and more mature than me.
I got some gray hairs.
I got grays too. But Daddy Kevin will be there, and he's going to be running some breakout sessions. It's going to be an absolute blast, and I can't wait to give you a taste of CODA. I like that. I like the flavor of CODA. You get to see how amazing this place is, and then also talk to both of our amazing head programmers here. It's going to be awesome. Anything about the camp, CJ?
So the camp is whatever the athletes make it, right? So we have a generalized framework that we want to get ready for, which is open to help people develop the skills or mindset or mentality approaches or whatever it may be to get ready for the open. So once you sign up, you'll fill out a form of the things that you need to work on the most. So we haven't finalized the camp because we really want to make it specific to the athletes that join. And so when you decide to join, which you are fully confident, you'll get a form within the next couple of weeks of the things that you need to work on the most. And so it'll be a full questionnaire to help us really pinpoint how many breakout sessions we need, what we want to focus on, how many double unders Ben is going to teach people, and muscle ups, and then how I'm going to watch Ben teach double unders. So it'll be good. We're super excited.
So if you want to learn more about the WOD Prep Camp, I believe the dates are the January 27th and 28th of 2024. Almost certain about that. If you want to learn more about it, go to wodprep.com/wodprep-camp. So wodprep.com/wodprep-camp. And you can learn all the details there. Grab the early special tickets, and we're going to have an outstanding time. And also, it's a great idea to stack a ski or snow